Welcome back to the Naked Proverbs podcast, where we unclothe the truth about Black love, family, and marriage. My name is Nik Scott, one of your hosts, and I'm here with my husband.
What's going on? It's your boy Rich, and today we are going to talk about power.
Right at the start of every episode, we have to remind our listeners that we are not trained, licensed, or professional therapists or counselors. We use Naked Proverbs as our platform to share our advice, our opinions, our experience, and our stories because we've been married a long time and we got the mic, so why not?
My mic sounds nice.
If you haven't already, make sure that you are following the Naked Proverbs on whatever platform you listen to your podcast on. And if you like what you hear, show us your love and support by giving us a 5-star rating on iTunes or give us a positive rating on whatever platform you're listening to right now.
As always, on every episode, we love to say thank you because, well, we just like to say thank you.
Yeah, we do. And thank you.
We don't want to take you for granted.
We sure don't. And can I just say something to our listeners?
You can say whatever you want, girl. It's your podcast.
Listen, listeners.
Listen now.
We appreciate y'all. A couple podcasts ago, we gave a little assignment on how you can support the Naked Proverbs. And so many of you have done that. We see you. We love you. Thank you so much for your support. We appreciate you.
Thank y'all. After 6 seasons of Power, it's finally over. Now, I know when you heard us say that we were going to talk about Power, you were not assuming we meant the show on Starz.
Yes, they were.
No, this is love and nakedness and proverbs and family, and like, how does that even relate to Power?
Of course it relates to Power because Power was all about all of the things you just said: family and love and marriage and Blackness. Power is about all of the things that we talk about on this podcast. So I know that our listeners were savvy enough to know that you were talking about Power that comes on or came on Starz.
Okay, so I know that, the last episode was almost 2 weeks ago now. And maybe you've watched this show, maybe you have not. So we are not going to ruin anyone's viewing pleasures. But we do want to talk about some themes and some correlations that we have seen because we've pretty much watched. That's one of our date night things that we like to do, that we've done over the years. And we usually were always behind on episodes.
Yep.
But we like to go back and watch Power, and have some popcorn, glass of wine, whatever. And so for me, when we were talking about topics, at first I was like, Power, I'm thinking seriously, not in the sense of the TV show, but power within marriage, right?
Right.
But then my brilliant wife started to point out some of these things that were happening in Power or have happened in Power that are very relevant to Naked Proverbs.
Absolutely. The first thing that I want to tackle, we're going to get this out the way, because even when we were writing our notes, you said that I get passionate and on a soapbox about this one.
You do.
Y'all
watch. See how she laughing? She ain't about to be.
Is about the position of the Black woman in the family. And we know that Tasha was a woman that held it down from season 1 all the way through season 6. Black women, I say Black women, but I really think it's women in general. Like,
I would agree.
We all hold it down for our families. We often do whatever it takes to keep our families together. And we see Tasha doing this throughout the entire show. But what pissed me off is by the end is that Tasha...
How the show ended for her.
Yeah.
I feel like, I struggle in life because I am a person that believes in karma, and I believe that good should always win out, even though statistically speaking, that is not always the truth.
Right.
But in my mind, I believe it should, win out. And while Tasha and Ghost both had many failures.
Yeah.
I still felt like she got the rawest deal of everybody.
She did.
And I mean, and Ghost didn't even see season 7.
No, he didn't. In season 7, there ain't no season 7.
I know, but I didn't want to ruin it for nobody.
But the thing for me is like, how many times does that story have to be told in the entertainment in the media for it's like, it's not a real story. I mean, like, we are holding it down, but we're not holding it down by ourselves. Like, at this point, we have men that are with us. Our children are helping us keep it together. And as strong as we are, we can't do it all by ourselves. Tasha did it all by herself. And the way that it ended for her was unfortunate and sad. And it's a story that we have seen played out time and time again in different ways. Different ways.
You know, we see women take the rap for things that it's like, how did that even happen?
Exactly.
Right? How did we end up here? And for me, I think with Tasha, I struggle with all of it just because I feel like you had opportunities to change your lifestyle.
Yeah.
But you love that money so much. You love that fame.
And that man.
That you just loved all that. You
Yeah.
love that lifestyle so much that you went all the way down the like, because there was a point in one of the episodes where it showed how she really had like some opportunity coming out of, you know, high school. She was smart and could have gone on to college and done other things, but she got drugged down by a man. That's one thing. You know, we talking about topics and power, right?
Right.
Another one that I struggled with was, you're the man of the house. Now, this is a few episodes, seasons back, excuse me. What's his name? Tariq?
You know the boy's name.
I don't know. I don't even like speaking that boy's name. He need a good spanking.
He needed one for sure.
He still need one. If I see him today, I'm going to take my belt off.
Why everybody want to whoop Tariq?
Because Tariq need his butt beat.
See?
That's part of his problem. He thinks he's a man. And part of being a man is not just being of age.
Yep.
It's almost the whole, anybody can make a baby, but not everybody's a father. It's like, look, at 10, 11, you are capable of making a child, but that doesn't mean that you are capable of being a father.
Right.
And to me, it's the same. You're the man of the house. So at one point when Ghost, what was his Ghost's name? What his other name was?
His real name?
No, not his real name, but his stage name.
James. Jamie.
Jamie St. Patrick.
James St. Patrick, but they called him Jamie.
Well, when the girl called his one-off called him Jamie.
Okay.
His name was James. When James left his house to go live with his other woman, his wife Tasha told that boy at one point, like, your dad's gone now, you're the man of the house. And that played itself out in a way where this boy put himself in some very manly decisions, not only in how the final episodes went,
right,
but even leading up to them. He's out here slanging drugs and trying to be this man, trying to protect his mother and doing things that no boy should be forced into or even feel that they are responsible for, because he's making decisions, and we know because we have a teenage daughters, without fully understanding the consequences of his actions. Why? Right. Because he's a kid. And I think that in our community, we find this happening sometimes where we are telling these boys that they're men and they really believe it, and they find themselves making decisions based off of thinking they're men, but not even having the mental capacity to understand what that means.
So there's two things that I want to address in what you just said. And the first one is Tariq being the quote unquote man of the family. Again, this narrative of black boys being appointed to be the man of the household because the dad is absentee for one reason or another. I just feel like it needs to stop. It's tired and is played just like the narrative of black men leaving their perfectly gorgeous, capable, brilliant black wife for some other woman of another race or ethnicity. First of all, that's not even true.
It's not.
That is a lie. That is a trick of the enemy that got people believing that when black men get a certain caliber, a certain level, or just even when they first starting, that they want these women of opposite races. You know how many beautiful black women and beautiful black men are together and married and have been married and live happily ever after?
A whole lot.
But yet you don't see these stories being played out on TV. You don't see it. And Power had a cult following. Power had a huge platform, and I feel like there were so many missed opportunities because the main family was a black family. There were so many missed opportunities. You still could have had the drug gang. You still could have had the violence. You still could have had you still could have told the same story, but you didn't have to break up the black family. You didn't have to treat the black woman like everybody else treats the black woman. I loved Power. Did not miss one single episode in 6 seasons. But I think that the writers, as many black folks is on that staff, as many black folks is producing these episodes, I think that folks need to start looking at things through a different lens. At what point does the black family, the black man, the black woman, the black son get to live the American dream without being broken up?
With that, the lack of respect for marriage.
Yep.
Like, you don't have to tell a story that is engaging and gets people interested only through the lens of a lack of respect for marriage. Because let's be real, everyone lacked the respect for marriage in Power.
Yeah.
Everybody was sleeping with someone that wasn't their spouse. Everyone was sleeping with their spouse.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, that makes good TV.
It makes good TV, but there comes a point where you can't make good TV without just disrespecting marriage. Like, just like you're saying, you don't have to disrespect because you know what? Every black couple is not out there with a side chick.
I feel you.
Every black man ain't looking for somebody else. Every black woman ain't dissatisfied at home and beat down and emotionally broken. Like, it's okay for us to show flourishing, happy marriages.
I agree.
And I know that we're talking about Power, right? We're talking about a movie that they whatever you call it, the intro is imitation cocaine exploding everywhere, right?
Right.
So I get that.
Yeah.
But I think for me, my point is, name a show where that's not happening. Where you are not destroying the black family.
Exactly.
Where you are not making marriage seem like it doesn't matter. Where you are not putting somebody on drugs, or you are not having infidelity. Like, where are the Cosby shows, the Fresh Princes?
No.
Like, where are those shows that show black marriages and families can be normal?
They don't have them anymore. And I think that in a situation like Power, the storyline, right? You ain't got to do all of these things that we're saying, right? Pick just one or two. Like, why does the little boy got to be the man of the house? How come the daddy couldn't have just stayed in the house and been the daddy? Why at the end, and this isn't a spoiler alert because everybody knows what happens at the end, why couldn't it be that this black man could live his best life?
And you know what? And I think for me, because let's be real, a lot of what's written in Hollywood comes from factual pieces, because that's what makes it interesting, because it's like, well, that could really be real life. Well, let's take a real life example of someone that I don't know personally, but I've heard enough stories and I believe it's true for what I know. Jay-Z. Jay-Z was a corner boy. At least that's the story he's given. He was someone that was out on them streets, peddling them drugs, making good money. Didn't realize that there was no future in that. Now the guy is a multi-billionaire, married to Beyonce. Bay.
To be,
bay, boo, bam, bang. Whatever you want to call her. He's married to her.
Yeah.
He has a family.
Yep.
He has made mistakes, but they have worked through them together.
Yep.
They are building an empire. And I'm not saying I agree with Jay-Z's beginnings or his current situation.